All right. We'll have questions here. I just got a short presentation to show you a little bit about what we're doing, the itinerary, activities, etc., of what we've done in the past. So I have done this program twice so far. This will be the third time. We were going to do it, Rada and myself, this summer, I guess, summer of 24, but it was canceled due to local activities going on in Ecuador, and just out of an abundance of caution went ahead and canceled it. From what I understand, Ecuador's like kind of back to normalish now. We have a partner professor that we'll talk about here in just a second, Sixto. He lives in Quito, works for University of San Francisco de Quito, and he says that things are normal. So as far as we know, everything is on track and normal, and we are going here this summer. So we're kind of wrapping up negotiations with USFQ on kind of like finalizing the itinerary and whatnot, which I'll show you here shortly. But like I said, as far as we know, everything is good to go. Slide. Good. There we are. Okay, so we have two courses as part of this program. The first one is ENIC 324, which is Water in Our World. It's an introduction to the hydrologic science. There's also a lab associated with that, so 4 total credits. That one is going to be taught by Sixto. He's been with us the past several years as well. He is incredible and amazing, and like I said, he's Ecuadorian, lives in Quito, works for USFQ. He has taught it with the past with Jay Cable, but Jay and Susan Cohen, who we've also taught with, have done the trip a few more times than me. So they're taking a break. And so Rada and I are now going to be the two staff from UNC to teach it. And then we'll have Sixto. So Rada may step in a little bit with 324 to help, just depending on grading and whatnot. Sixto is adjunct at UNC, just so everybody knows. So he is officially legit. But we just for grading purposes and whatnot, Rada may list on there in some of the future paperwork that you see. But Rada and I will be teaching ENIC 479, which is remote sensing and landscape analysis. I currently teach this with Rada. I probably should start with introductions. I'll do it here in just a second though. At the Highlands Field Site. And so we've kind of refined this over the past several years. We've been teaching that as well. And we're going to be accompanying these two. We will have some classroom time when we're in Ecuador, but a lot of it is kind of outdoor experiential education where we're out walking through the jungle, walking through Galapagos, and learning about these things while we're out and talking. But like we said, we do with remote sensing and GIS type stuff, especially, we do have to have some classroom time, and we try to knock that out a little bit on the front end. So before I go any further, let me introduce myself and tell you who the heck is talking to you. I work for the Institute for the Environment and
Can I get a
the
ugly rainbow
Carolina Drone Lab.
almond butter, please? Or
So
yeah,
the
almond
drone
butter.
lab has been going on for,
Good evening.
let's see, I guess several years now.
Sorry.
Ready? Get some background noise. There we go. That was distracting. Sorry. We've had the drone lab going for about 4 or 5 years now, I guess, officially. I've been with UNC for coming up on 2 years, but I've worked with UNC for many years in the past as well on some environmental projects. So my primary focus is flying drones, but then also incorporating that into satellite imagery and creating kind of a holistic picture to create this landscape analysis, which funnels perfectly into ENIC 479. I do a lot of GIS work. Ron and I are working on some cool bat projects together. So lots of, I guess, a variety spectrum of things that we cover and all sorts of things. So Rada, please give us a short synopsis.
Sure. Hi, I'm Rada Petrick. I'm an assistant professor at UNC, and I'm also the director of the Institute for the Environment at the Highlands Field Site, which is where I'm located right now at the western part of North Carolina. But I specialize in bats and small mammals and anthropogenic disturbances. And so basically utilizing all of this, remote sensing data and being able to assess how it might be influencing animals in general. So that's my specialty, and you can see some bats in the back of my office here. I love them a lot, and you guys will get to learn all about bats, and we'll get to see them in Ecuador and study them a bit as well. So yeah, that's my little synopsis.
Thank you. I'm currently in Oklahoma, so it's a little unique in that I work remote even when I'm in North Carolina, along with Rada. So we would love to meet with you in person. However, neither of us are in Chapel Hill all that often. I come back a little bit more than Rada does, especially now this semester when she has students. So if you do want an in-person, just shoot me an email and I'll let you know when I am coming to campus. I'll probably be there one more time, maybe before the end of the year. And then, but we're always available virtually to meet if you have specific questions after this as well. So here's our general rundown of the schedule. So we're going to start with classes on May 20th. And this will be, I don't know if it'll be Tuesday and Thursday for both classes for 324 and 479, but we do remote classes for 2 weeks before we go so that we can knock it out some of that classroom type information where we need computer access, internet, etc. So it'll be about an hour and a half each time. And we'll, like I said, 4 times for each class. So 8 total classes before we depart for Ecuador on May 31st. So we'll depart on Saturday. And that's pretty much a travel day on your own. You book your own tickets to Quito. There's, not a ton of flights that come in. So most of us come in waves. USFQ will arrange, we send them all our flight information before we go. They arrange our transportation to the hotel where we're all staying at. Then we do on Sunday, the 1st, an orientation with USFQ. It's kind of like a half day type deal. And then you pretty much have a half day to tour around Quito and prepare to head out to Tiputini. If you don't know, Tiputini is in the Amazon. It is a Tiputini Biological Station, and it's also run by USFQ. So just to kind of set the tone, the journey to get to Tiputini is rather intense. So we fly from Quito to Coca, and then you hop on a 2-hour boat ride, which you'll see why I did the air quotes here in a second on the boat. Then you hop off of that, get on a 2-hour bus ride through some oil fields that's kind of owned but they still have indigenous tribes that live out there, and then another 2-hour boat ride, and then we finally arrive at Tiputini. And it'll be kind of like late evening, and we'll have dinner, and then we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday full days of expeditions through the jungle, through the Amazon, and it is just incredibly spectacular. We do a river float where we hop in the river and the current just kind of like drifts you down. We have life jackets on, safety first, right? And then we're doing walks all through the jungle, talking about different types. The guides there are just incredible. The station director is also we've been working with for a couple years now, and we're trying to find some more research projects to do with them too, so we can go back even more. It's just a remarkable place. It's very untouched, and you definitely feel the remoteness out there. Then on Friday morning, we wake up nice and early, we'll depart Tiputini and head back to Coca. After 3 days out in the Amazon, we'll be coming back. You'll be pretty tired after that. We'll have kind of an easy day, maybe a class or something after we get back to Coca, but nothing too crazy. Do some laundry, and we're basically preparing then to head out to Galapagos, which is probably my favorite place on the planet now. On the 8th, we travel to San Cristobal. There's 3 inhabited islands in the Galapagos, so we're going to hit all of them. Just for a short time on Santa Cruz because it's the most inhabited. But we'll hit a few of the key landmarks when we're there. But San Cristobal, there is the Galapagos Science Center, and we'll be conducting quite a few classes while we are there because it's an official classroom. But right across the beach, it's very distracting. There's sea lions. There's a beach. It's literally across the street, and you have the ocean there. So very distracted with sea lions barking at us while we're trying to teach class, and all the students are out looking out the window and like, focus, focus. We'll go out there here in just a little bit. But there is snorkeling that you can walk to there. It is just a very cool destination, small island. We'll hit a tortoise reserve. There's different types of land tortoise that we have all throughout the Galapagos. Each island has kind of its little distinct species that you'll learn about while we're there. Also in San Cristobal, there is a free day built in because personally I love to scuba. And there's a place called Kicker Rock, which we will snorkel at as part of one of our trips. But then if you choose to and you're scuba certified, you can go back, pay extra, of course, to do your own trip. And you can scuba there as well. And that's where last time I think I saw about 20 hammerheads or so. And it's not even in the main time of the hammerhead migration. So super awesome. There's all sorts of things. You'll get tired of seeing sea turtles. There's just so many of them. I mean, it's just like being in National Geographic. It's incredible. Then on the 13th, we go to Santa Cruz just for one night. You have to take a 2-hour ferry ride on a boat between islands. And it gets a little rough. Take like half a Dramamine or something. Everybody's usually fine, but people do get seasick. But then it's only 2 hours, and we get there, and then you're on land again. We're there for just the day and night. Then we head to Isabela the next day, and that's another 2-hour ferry ride. It's basically 2 hours between all these islands, and we just want to break that up so you're not doing a morning ferry ride and then an afternoon ferry ride, because I did that when I extended on the personal side of it, and it does kind of suck. So we're splitting those up. Isabela is the most remote island. We're going to do a volcano hike. There's a wall of tears. We do a bike ride through part of the island. And then, of course, snorkeling is everywhere as well when we have half free days on some of these days and some more expeditions and type things that we'll talk about. Then finally, we come back to Quito just for a couple days, final presentations, final projects, etc. And then we depart to come back to the United States on June 20th. So that's the quick rundown. Now we'll talk about each of these sites here just a little bit more with some pictures, of course. So Tiputini. Here is the map on the left. You can see Quito. And then on the right, we have Tiputini. So pretty far out there. And pretty much when you kind of cross this line here and enter the Amazon basin, there is not much out there. Few pictures here. This is the boat that I talked about. It's covered, has a couple motors on the back, so it's like a speed canoe almost. This was our students walking through the jungle last time, looking up, talking about various different communities that we have, even right here in the local Amazon right around Tipitini. That's Sixto, FYI. And then there's a canopy tower. So you hike up the scaffolding and get to the top, and you can basically see out over the entire Amazon, which is amazing. I took this picture actually too of a jaguar. So there are researchers in the biodiversity station that have been there for like a month or so. And as we were on our boat ride in, we saw two jaguars just off the side of the bank, and we stopped and took pictures of them, and it's super rare. And we just got incredibly lucky, and everyone was super jealous. They'd been out there for like a month getting eaten by mosquitoes, and they had not seen a single jaguar. And we saw one like as we were driving in. So I'll be sure to schedule that for us so we can see that again here as we're entering, and y'all can get cool pictures too. Various assortments of monkeys all throughout. And then this is the Tipitini River and coming up the steps as you hit the ramp there. So like I said, that float down is just really awesome. The boat follows you along, and you can hear the monkeys, hear birds of various varieties. Just very remote, very cool. Not many places like that left on the planet. Quito is kind of like serves as our home base there as USFQ's campus. We'll hit the middle of the World Museum, which you see right here, and you're kind of standing on one side of the line, and water swirls one way, and then you step to the other, and it swirls the other, and they do these cool different demonstrations about gravity on the equator and whatnot. Very cool. And then, of course, Quito is very historic as well, so lots of large churches and whatnot. And you'll have, I want to say it's 2 half free days, maybe off the top of my head, if I'm trying to recall the schedule, to roam around on your own and explore that. Then, of course, the Galapagos. when we did this trip the first time, we only went to Galapagos, and then we decided to expand to Tipitini. So I think we've refined the course over the past like 3 to 4 years. And really now it's kind of like a nice balance of everything, I think. So you're getting the best of all worlds. We've had past students that have been very jealous that they didn't get to go to Tipitini. And we do form like a very tight bond because we are all over the place in the entire country of Ecuador. We're always together. So all the students bond with us as professors as well, and just like a really nice community. And I think pretty much everybody we're still in contact with that we've been on the trip with. So in Galapagos, we have Darwin's Bay, which is on San Cristobal. Just down the road, you can walk to it and snorkel, and there's sharks, turtles, etc. Sea lions. Kicker Rock, we already mentioned. Tintoreras is on Isabela. And then one of the coolest things that you can just kind of like walk off the coast onto any beach around essentially, and the snorkeling is pretty incredible. And you'll be with penguins, sea lions, blue-footed boobies there, everything. And then that volcano that I mentioned, the volcano hike at Sierra Negra, which is about 5 miles or so. So a little bit of conditioning that you might need to do before we go. It's not a terribly hard hike, but it is very nice. It'll probably be raining on us when we start. And then this top left picture is here kind of at the top, just incredible views. Everybody made it. We all did great. Just got a little wet along the way, but you drive by the end, so it's all fine. All right, most important part probably. We don't have our final quote just yet from USFQ. This is what it was going to cost us last year. Just FYI, will probably be about the same. We didn't really change too much on the itinerary, so no promises, but this is about what you can expect to cost. The only thing that's not refundable is the application fee of $50. Once you pay that and you start your application, that's gone. You can't get it back. So a few things just to note here of the insurance, tuition, pretty standard. The airfare is the only thing as well, and like in meals, and I can send you like a detailed schedule once we fully finish this, but a lot of times breakfast and lunch are included, and some days all three are included. There's just a few days where on your free days, like, dinner's on your own and whatnot. So we recommend about $400 or so for extra in meals. And then the airfare to get you to and from Ecuador is not included in that cost. So it will benefit you to shop around and try to find the best flights possible. If you don't have a passport, you need that. And then you can bring and spend as much money as you want on souvenirs, of course. Recommend $500 or so, because there's shops all over the place in Quito, and then especially in Galapagos. They're just lying down the streets in the towns. All sorts of different cool souvenirs and whatnot. A few important dates to close on is applications. They're open today. It opened on the 15th, and then your deadline to apply is January 31st. So don't forget that date. You've got a few months to sort everything out and get your application submitted. So once you start your application, we see that you've started, you can expect to get a couple emails from Rada and myself, just checking in, see if you need any information from us, anything we can do to help. I'll note as well on Study Abroad's website, if you go and check that out, then there is information about tuition assistance on there. And I think a lot of people that we've gone in the past will receive it and will get help. I'm not an expert on that. My job primarily is research, and then I'm just adjunct and teach a few classes here and there. So I'm a little sketchy on some of those details, but I can certainly link you up with the right people that can help. And if you have any questions, you can let us know, and we will find the answer if we don't know it. I can promise you that. So with that, Rada, do you have anything to add before we open it up to questions?
I was muted. I would highly encourage you guys to definitely explore financial aid options and scholarships that are available through UNC, so that you guys can maximize your budget and how far it takes you.
indeed. And like I said, Study Abroad's website has a lot of good information on there. And then once our budget is finalized, it will be posted immediately. We're in like the very final stages of that, I believe. And then there's a whole page. You'll see that exact table that I just showed you. It'll look just like that with the updated figures on it. And that should be within the next couple weeks or so, I would imagine. Okay. That was the end of the kind of the quick formal presentation, cool pictures and shows, whatever. Does anybody have any specific questions for Arata or myself at the moment? I know somebody's got to have something. Are the sharks scary? Anything? Whale sharks, yes, Campbell. There is a potential on Isabella. There is a bay kind of up to the northwest or western side of the island, I believe, and there are whale sharks, orcas, and then I think a variety of other whales kind of over there. Um, we don't have any excursions planned to that area, but that's not to say that you couldn't do it on your own, or then even when we're out on one of our planned excursions of snorkeling or something that we want and see something. So just for example, we were out on one of our snorkeling excursions. I want to say it was on San Cristobal, and our boat captain saw like a whole bunch of like a large flock of birds. And so he just started driving away from land, and we were like, where the heck are we going? And we drove for like maybe 5 minutes, and there was a like a shark feeding frenzy around this school of fish. So there were frigates, blue-footed boobies, albatross or two, I think, and then there were sea lions, Galapagos sharks, the variety of sharks there, just like crazy, and you could see their fins coming out of the water. So, I mean, it is legit like National Geographic, but you're there and experiencing it. It's awesome. Next question. Do the courses count towards the Eames Marine Bioecology major concentration? I don't know the answer to that question, Kendall. Rhonda, do you know?
I think we need to check on that.
Yes. Let me jot a note down, and Kendall, I will send you an email. Okay, maybe make sure I spell your name right. Kendall Ashby. Do courses. Concentration. I will figure that out for you, Kendall, and I will ask and get back to you here probably middle to early next week, hopefully. Evan, fishing. Uh, I also don't know the answer to that one. No one has ever tried that before. Um, so basically, the town itself is outside of the national park, and then most of all the other islands, as soon as you get outside of town, are in the national park. There's a little bit of an exception for that. It's like San Cristobal, you basically go like a quarter of the mile up, and then this is one of our excursions. And then you basically get to where the road ends, and then the rest of the island, there's no access to unless you take a boat around it. Um, but I'll ask our maybe Six Toe. No, I'll ask Six Toe, or I'll just reach out to USFQ and ask them and find out for you. Eames question two. Okay, Michaela, I will add you to that one. Got it. You do not need advanced Campbell. Just a normal open water is good. I've been with the same, there's multiple dive shops and you can go and like schedule for the next day. But I've been with the same one for the past couple times and they're very good. They take you out for a quick like introductory dive, like at a little sandbar that's like 20 feet, maybe if that. And then they kind of like force you to go hang out on the beach for an hour. And then they take you out to kick a rock and you get two dives as part of it. Give me free dive while snorkeling. Um, Yep. See you, Evan. Let us know if you have any questions. Kendall, you can free dive if you're on your own trip, like if you're just out, and of course you can have a buddy, safety first. But then if we're on the actual excursion, I'm trying to recall. Yeah, it was on Isabella at least. I remember if you wanted a life jacket, you could have one. But yeah, I dove down because there were groups of rays and whatnot. So we're all kind of like huddled together. So it's pretty safe. So you can, I'm going to say yes, you can free dive. Okay, what else you got? Good questions. Rada is also a diver, so we're going to be doing I have to make sure that we get the free day in there for diving, of course. So Rada and I will be out, and if anybody else wants to dive, you're certainly welcome to join us. And they pair you up with other people too if you need a dive buddy. So you can come alone. That's fine as well. Very cool. Yep. You will probably see multiple sharks. Pretty small, unless you go diving, and then you see some decent size hammerheads. Hopefully, it's my spirit animal. Okay, well, if you don't have anything else, you're free to go. Thank you very much for the information. Reach out to myself and Rada, and we will get back to you as soon as we can with that, with discount for an undergraduate research or capstone credit. I don't think that it's undergraduate research or capstone, no.
It doesn't count, no. But Kendall, you can join one of the field sites and you'll get both independent research and capstone. And we have 4 field sites that you can choose from, and 3 of them happen every fall, 1 of them happens in the spring.
Rada and Highlands is really cool. Okay, thank you all very much. We're around if you need us, and reach out to SAO if you have any specific questions for them and budget and financial aid and all that fun stuff. They'll get back to you very quickly. They're great on that.